Welcome to Kicking It Local, the podcast all about the football community in South Australia. I am your host, Johnny Kecko, and this podcast is really showcasing everyone that's involved in the football community here in South Australia. And this is a very special one because this week is Female Football Week, and I'm very excited to chat with today's guest. Been involved in the football community for 25 years as a referee, and also has spent 15 of those years with her involved in at a national level as a referee, coach and assessor. And I'm very excited to be joined by Michelle Smith. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for the invitation. This is quite the honour. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to it. It's Female Football Week. It's a big week in Australia for the sport. And yourself, you're currently the Senior Referee Development Consultant and also the Chair of the Referee Coaching Advisory Group for Football South Australia. That was a mouthful, but
it is, right.
How do you tell people when they ask you what's your role at Football South Australia?
I'm the head of the referees.
That's an easy way to put it.
That's putting it simple.
Maybe I should have gone with that. Here's Michelle, the head of the referees. There we go. That would have saved me about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But now, looking forward to chatting to you. I really want to chat about how you got into refereeing, because there's a lot of unique stories of how people get into officiating. And for you, I know it's a very unique story as well. And later on in the podcast, I really want to chat about the Leave a Legacy.
Yep. Because
there's a legacy plan put in place by Football South Australia to take advantage of what's going on in 2023 with the FIFA World Cup, the Women's World Cup, here on our own home soil. So there's a great plan in place. So I want to chat to you about that and what it means to the female game and also refereeing as well.
Yeah, very exciting.
And later on as well, the pathway for the female referees. But first of all, what we're here for, Female Football Week. It is a great week in football. We're celebrating the women's game in this country. What's it mean for you to have a week of celebration like this? Yeah,
it's such an exciting opportunity. We've got obviously, football itself has just grown exponentially in the last, in my time period. If I look at 25 years, and I just had the conversation the other day with someone about how the growth of the quality of football in that time with the referees and the players themselves, and women's hasn't developed exponentially like men's has.
Yeah.
So this week gives us an opportunity to showcase what's out there, what's available, what the opportunities are, and just give it that priority, especially leading into the Women's World Cup. What an opportunity, right? We're going to have the greatest female sporting event in the world right here, and games played right here in Adelaide. Let's celebrate it and give people the opportunity just to showcase it. Yeah.
And have you seen the benefits of it so far from having this celebration week for female footballs?
Look, it's put it on the calendar for clubs and for us, Football SA as well. It's on the calendar. It means that we can schedule things in specifically and go, no, that's happening this week.
Yeah.
And that's certainly the approach we've taken with the referees.
We're in it now. It's the week of Female Football Week. And how relevant is this to the referees?
Yeah, great. So we've got a couple of programs happening this week. We are going to have our coaching this week is going to be run by a female.
Yep.
And some of the topics are going to be about what's it like to referee female football as opposed to refereeing men's football, because it is different. Right?
Yep.
It is different. Very big exciting news this week also is that that person who's doing the coaching, Isabella Baez, she has been accepted into the AFC Academy program.
Oh, wow.
So she's going all steam ahead in her refereeing career. It's going to open up amazing opportunities, 3 years training in AFC with the Referee Academy program.
That's incredible. And that opportunity has come from from what the resources that Football South Australia has, and she's gone through that system and now has been offered this great opportunity.
Absolutely. Yep, grassroots. Started playing here in South Australia, started refereeing here in South Australia, has moved on to the Women's League as an assistant referee, developed further into a referee, and now heading off to AFC. Based here still, but we'll be spending some time over in AFC.
That's great. And that's a great example of Female Football Week and highlighting people like that, because young girls coming through that play football or are looking to get into refereeing, they see someone like that and just really show them
amazing role model.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And that's the whole thing about this week, and I absolutely love it as a football fan. What other initiatives are there for aspiring referees in Female Football Week?
Yeah, look, we're also looking at launching our female mentorship program. So that's a new initiative that's starting up this year. So we're launching that as well. We haven't locked in yet, but probably we're looking at trying to run a female-only referees course as well.
Oh, beautiful. That's fantastic. And we're talking about how we can get other people into the game, but now let's talk about you. You came into as a referee a little bit after your first experience in football.
Yeah.
You started off as a goalkeeper.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about what got you into playing football.
Interesting story, actually. You'll pick up through this. I like a challenge.
Yeah.
So I am from Queensland originally.
Yep.
And big rugby union, rugby league state.
Nice.
And follow those sports passionately. Had a friend who is of English heritage, and her dad wanted to start up a football team. And I said, I don't want to play that stupid game. And they went back to me with, well, that's just because you don't know how to play.
Yep.
So I went out and discovered very, very quickly how incredibly technical and how incredibly difficult it is to play.
Yep.
So ended up in goals. Probably a bit of my rugby background came into play there because I was like, no fear. Look, I remember my very first save. I literally was the classic double back pedaling and leaping and tipping the ball over the bar. From that moment, I was absolutely hooked. That was it, hooked.
That's incredible. And that feeling of football, a lot of people get that feeling of once they start, they just absolutely fall in love with it.
Yeah.
And I can see the way you talk about your experience, and also the way you talk about being involved in the game. You just light up. So for me, I know you said it's technical. I know how technical it is. That's why I don't play, because I'm terrible. I'm terrible at it. So it's a hard one to get into. But the other thing is, you started as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But we know referees they're known to have a hard time on the pitch because it's not an easy job. You got to make big calls, and sometimes they may be the right call, but half the crowd don't agree with you, and half the players don't. You know this from a personal experience, because that's what led you into becoming a referee.
Yeah.
As you kind of gave one a hard time as a goalkeeper.
Absolutely. Actually, it was after I was coaching as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So during my coaching, short coaching career, I gave a referee a really hard time, and I just, as you can imagine, gave him a hard time. The referee very, very politely came over to me at the end of the match and said, hey, I reckon you should come along to the next Laws of the Game course, because at the moment you're making a fool of yourself. Which he did it in a really polite manner and didn't belittle me or anything like that. He just came over and had this conversation. I went, fair call. So I literally did. And he was a guy who ran the course. And 12 months later, I was on the National League as a referee.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
accelerated program. Yeah, absolutely accelerated program. We're going back 25 years. There was a lot of opportunities. There's still opportunities now. However, I'd had that playing knowledge. I did know the laws pretty quickly.
Yep.
And I just took to it like a duck to water. So within that end of that 12 months later, I was given an opportunity as an assistant referee on a National League game.
Yep.
And that was it. I was absolutely there's obviously no turning back.
That's incredible. And did your eyes did it make you realise when you're in there what the actions you made on the pitch towards the referee? What was that feeling that you had once you heard what the teacher had to teach you about
absolutely.
refereeing?
Look, I think the referees are a really easy scapegoat for everybody's frustration, and that's not okay.
Yep.
And we have this level of acceptance, which is not okay. We just need to, people get frustrated, and I coach our referees now. Someone will get frustrated and they'll go, "Come on, ref," or whatever. But we tolerate way too much of it, and we need to not tolerate it. We need to have this line that we don't cross over, and that we're respecting our referees. You look at pretty much any other code, and the penalties on the attitude. Let's not even talk about penalties. Let's talk about the attitude towards referees and towards officials. They're respected.
Yeah.
And unfortunately in football, not unfortunately, but we've got an incredible culture in football going back a very long time. The unfortunate part is a lot of that has been accepted yelling, abusing of referees.
And it's not the greatest thing, but if it wasn't for you doing that, you probably wouldn't have led on to this 25 years of refereeing.
100%.
And you're not the only one that I've noticed, because I heard a story about a current A-League men's referee. He abused a referee during his school football days, and his teacher told him, you need to learn not to do that, become a referee the next game. And now he's a full-time referee in the A-League men's. So is this a great approach to something like that when a player does act out a bit to a referee?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a huge education process available right there. And I mean, I guess that sort of made me then think about not only exactly like myself and the A-League men's official, we were in this situation where, you know, we probably weren't going to make it as a player to any high level, but you look at the option that we've had and the world that's opened up to us now. So how many other players out there are in the same situation that might have a pathway as a referee, as opposed to playing?
Is there any other ways do you reckon if you get the training to the players before they even do that, would that even open their eyes up to?
Absolutely.
Yeah, another great way of doing it.
Yeah.
And enough talking about you abusing referees or anything like that. So we're not here for that. We want to talk about your career as well, because you had a massive career in football. I'm going through the list. The amount of different things you've done. You're on the FIFA list as a referee. You had the 2004 Youth World Cup. You were official National Leagues, National Youth League. I can't believe how much you've been through. And then now you're still a coach, you're an assessor as well, and doing all these different things in football. What was your highlight of that whole career so far that you've had, or especially as a referee?
Yeah, sure. Interesting, two things pop into mind. In terms of refereeing, probably one of the things that I'm the most proud of is being the first female to officiate in the National Youth League, the men's competition. And the grand final for the National Youth League. So that was I'm still proud of that one.
You were the first female referee for the grand final.
Yeah.
That's a big achievement to have that. And now you pretty much open the doors for others to do things like that. I've seen a lot more coming into the A-League men than we used to see.
Absolutely.
It's great to see. And is that something you're proud of? Like, you're very proud of?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of the opportunities that it has opened up.
Yep.
I'm proud of the girls who are up there now and representing females in football, not just female football, but in football. Yeah. So.
And that whole career of going overseas, how did that all come about? Because you're from you're in South Australia now, but how did you be able to get that career and build it to where it got to that high level?
A lot of hard work.
Yep.
Yeah. Look, I guess it comes down to what's the qualities of an elite level referee, and I think it's a lot of hard work, not only physically. Obviously, you have to be super fit. So there's a level of fitness testing that's always been around for referees. So it is elite level fitness. Also, obviously, you got to know the laws, all those sorts of things. We also need to then be able to make decisions. Right? It's not just knowing the laws, it's being able to make those decisions. So it comes back to a lot of your personality traits as well. And under pressure. It takes the two things that I promote to a lot of referees is having courage to make the decision and having the inner strength to be able to make that decision as well.
Yeah. And your pinnacle of your career, you mentioned off air, was the Under-20 Women's World Cup.
Yes.
What was that experience being on that world stage? Because you did the national stage, but what was the difference between that and being on that world stage as a referee, assistant referee? Yeah,
outstanding. Obviously something that I'll never forget.
Yeah.
Making it to the Women's World Cup, Youth World Cup was amazing, fantastic opportunity. 6 weeks away from home, which was, in an intense camp environment for that whole time, meeting the best players in the world, just a bit surreal, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, you must be really looking forward to the World Cup coming to our soil now.
I am so excited.
2023, we're going to have the Women's World Cup here, the FIFA Women's World Cup. It's a huge achievement, and I'm very much looking forward to that. And there's a lot of things happening around that time and in the lead up to it as well. So I want to talk a little bit later on. I want to talk about the Leave a Legacy and the legacy plan that Football South Australia is putting in place. because they've got 3 pillars in place, and I want to talk about and get your opinion on what it means to the game. And the 3 pillars are unlocking infrastructure, grow participation, and increase leadership. So I want to talk about all that because you're in a leadership role now as a referee. You're the senior referee development consultant. What does that role entail? What do you have to do in that role?
Yeah, okay. It definitely is a leadership role, and it's I'm about having a team around me. So I've got a great team of people, and I just sort of do my best to coordinate everybody so that it's not all falling on one person.
Yep.
What it entails is I've had development meetings with all of any referee who's wanted, any of our senior referees. So Angus McDonald looks after our development side of things. For any of our senior referees, they've been invited to come and have a development meeting with me. So I've sat and had 45 development meetings now with referees and planning a path for that specific referee. You can't just have a blanket approach across everybody.
Yep.
Then it's setting up some good coaching sessions that we have, technical feedback. We have set up a new system of assessing and coaching. We don't like the word assessing because we want to coach.
Yep.
The only time we call it assessing is time when we're going out to assess somebody for an upgrade.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's different levels for refereeing. Obviously, they start in grassroots, then they level 4, level 3, level 2, level 1. Working with a really strong team around me, delivering some really quality specific coaching as well for the referees. We get all the videos for all the NPL matches, all the State League 1 matches and all the WNPL matches. We clip those up for any key match incidents, we call them,
Yep.
as well as and goals and things like that. And we have a look at those video clips, we give them some coaching on that, and we send the clips and the coaching out to all the referees.
Yeah, what do you do in the case of if there's something in the game that wasn't, or you see that wasn't the right call, and it was a game changer call? What do you guys do? What's the process that comes in with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Generally, we'll find out pretty quick.
Yep.
Everyone's pretty keen to let us know straight away.
Just go on Twitter, you'll see everything.
I try and avoid the social media for that exact reason. As soon as we find out something, and 99% of the time it actually comes from the referee. They're like, hey, I think this happened. I think I might have got this wrong. So, which is part of the referee culture that we've really been working on developing, and just having this place of ownership and openness. So we will have a look at that clip. I will go, if there was a match day assessor or coach on that match, I will go to them and I'll ask them what they saw, and then I'll go to the referee, find out what they saw, and then we'll just break it down and go, okay, well, this might not have been right, so how can we make sure we don't get it, make sure we do get it right next time?
Yep.
So it's looking at it from an analytical point of view, looking at their positioning, what were they thinking, what was the build up to it, all those sorts of things.
Yep. So there is, with those decisions, unfortunately, there's a lot of frustration from fans and players as well. But it's not so because we don't see what happens in the background in the process. There is a sense of ownership of those decisions that are made on the field.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, and it's probably one of the things locally that I'm the most proud of. Again, working with my team, the change in referees going, and we had a coaching session. We have it every second Wednesday, sorry. And the last one we had, we popped a clip up, and then we come together as a coaching group. So we'll do that individually, but then once a fortnight we come together and we'll pop the video up, and a referee goes, oh, yeah, no, I got that completely wrong. And so they're in that environment now where they can just go, yeah, I made a mistake.
Yep.
But this is why, and this is how we can fix it. So it is hard. There's not a single referee that goes out there to have a bad game or make bad calls. Same as players, sometimes you have a shocker.
Yep.
Well, we're human. I can guarantee that there's not a single referee out there who goes out there to have a bad day. Sometimes it happens,
and it's people got to realise that it's not their fault. They're doing their job, and it's easy. We haven't got VAR, and even with VAR, we see we see decisions being made incorrectly a lot of the time.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
it's humans, and also with players as well. So it's great to see there's a process in the background that you guys have, and it's good to know that if something happens on the pitch, it's always being fixed for the future, and hopefully in the future the game's going to be even better for it.
100%. That is you've absolutely nailed it. It's about making the game better overall.
Yeah.
Improving our referees and improving the quality of the match.
Yeah.
We all want to go to a match and watch it and enjoy the football. And not be hung up on this decision or that decision or, that bad pass or, whatever the case may be.
And you wouldn't notice, but I was down at one of the games on the weekend and I happened to see you in the crowd watching the game and assessing with a whole group of other referees. It looked like a very happy environment, but it's like almost like watching players from another club sitting together and watching a game. Is that what the environment's like? Almost like another team?
Yeah, it 100% is. And look, you've actually just given me goosey saying that because I think that's really, really special to me.
Yeah.
And it comes back to the culture and the environment that we're trying to produce. And we've got a bunch of people who've just got on board, and we're a big family.
Yep.
It might sound corny, but it really is. We all look out for each other, and those opportunities, just sitting and watching a game with a bunch of other referees, shows that they're keen to learn.
Yep.
Gives me and other coaches the opportunity just to talk to them through live experiences. There's no pulling the referee apart. It's done in a supportive way, and it's how can you improve or how can they improve? Let's think about this. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing more and more of our younger referees just so hungry to learn and to become better.
Well, I'm glad I saw that before this chat because it really opened my eyes to what it's like, because before I never really thought about what it would be like in the background for referees, but it kind of looked like it's just a club with the players that are not playing on that game day watching from the stands. So, and it was a really cool vibe that I got from it. So, but with your, which is obviously shows how great it is from you and also the team that is part of the committee of the referees. But what's the difference between your role as senior referee development consultant and also being on the chair of the referee coaching advisory group?
Okay, yeah. So we call it the RefCo, just the referees committee.
Yep.
That's an easy one to say instead of all those other words.
Oh, that was a mouthful.
Absolutely. So as the ref committee, RefCo, we look at a lot of the strategic things. It's not particularly hands-on. That some people involved in the RefCo are not referees.
Yep.
Actually, a few people in there aren't actually referees. They're involved with football. And it's our guiding committee. So the big topic for us at the moment, and the thing that we're working on, is the legacy program. So we'll talk a bit more about that a little bit later on. But yeah, so we're looking at that. We look at we've got different portfolios. So we've got like a futsal portfolio, we've got junior football portfolio, we've got clubs, we've got female football, obviously. So head of that. We make a lot of the final decisions in that group. So we'll take. So I know it sounds a little bit tricky, but as my role as the coach, I'll take the recommendations from the coaching group to the referee committee and say, okay, here's our evidence. Yep. Here's all our information. These are my recommendations to you guys to set the panels for the referees, things like that. But I need to be able to present that to that group, and they have the final say to say, yep, we're happy with that, go ahead. Other things, little things like, training exemptions. We do have requirements for the different levels, so there might be training exemptions, there might be other things like conflicts of interest, which is probably something else that people don't think about. We definitely take a lot of that. We take a lot of time to look at associations between the referees, whether they've played or whether they do play, or the managers or their brother or their sister or whatever might play or manage or whatever the case may be. So we take all those sorts of things into consideration. So it's more of a strategic group. Yeah.
It's a lot of work, seems like it goes into it.
There is. I agree.
But how do you manage to fill it all in? Because you got that role in the committee. You've got your other role as the development consultant, but then you've also got a full-time job on top of that as well. It's just, that's incredible.
Yeah.
How do you fit it all in?
I'm not really sure.
And then you managed to come and do this interview with me as well. It's somewhere in between that as well.
Yeah. I guess I'm just a fairly driven person, I think, and pretty good time management. It's busy. It's busy. Yeah, definitely.
I want to talk about the legacy plan, but before I get to that, there's one other thing. I was looking through your bio, and it really intrigued me that I want to talk about. That you're also an elite level power lifter.
That is true.
When was this? The early days, or are you still?
No, more recently.
Recently?
Yeah. So for a few years, I didn't have such a heavy involvement in football. And needing to be a person who's always challenged.
Yep.
I was actually another funny story. I'll tell you another funny story. I actually was at the gym one day and just doing my thing, and the gym owner came over and he said, "Hey, you know you're strong?" And I went, "Oh, am I?" He said, "Yeah, you are." He said, "Why don't you go in a powerlifting competition?" I'm like, "What's powerlifting?" And so he taught me what powerlifting was, went and did a competition and won. So I got a powerlifting coach. He was actually a bodybuilding coach, so I got a powerlifting coach and went to a national competition and won that in my first comp as well. And
Wow.
set 4 world records on that particular day.
World records. So you not only set a great thing in the International Youth League as the first female referee, but you also setting records in a different
sport altogether.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
See, I struggled to bring all my gear up the stairs here at Football South Australia. So, and you're managing to lift all that. I don't know how you do it, but that's a great. I love those stories, because we always talk about people in the game, but there's a lot of other great stories outside of it as well. And you're just another one that I love. But I want to talk about the legacy plan now, because it's huge. You were a part of the Under-20 World Cup, Women's World Cup. Now we've got the actual FIFA Women's World Cup coming to our home soil. And one of the best things about this, which I've fallen in love with already, is the brand new home of football.
Hey, how good is this?
Football. And I forgot to mention, we're recording this right here at the new home. And it's great to have this facility now for the whole game in this state. What's it mean to you to have something like this and a new home for Football South Australia as well?
It's so exciting. I've spent a lot of time here in the last 2 weeks since it's open, and it's an absolute pleasure being here. Like, the facilities are obviously second to none in South Australia, and it's very exciting. Like that, the grass pitch out there is immaculate, and going to provide an amazing place for one of the whichever teams do come to train before they have their match day. They couldn't want for any better facility.
Well, we had Perth Glory already trained here. We had Young Matildas.
Young Matildas are out here,
which was fantastic. I came and watched the Perth Glory, the training, and then fell in love with it. And then I came and commentated the game, and then I came the next day just to watch the game because I just wanted to come.
Yeah.
And then I organised this interview so I can come back here. But it's great. It's already one thing that we've gotten from this. But Football South Australia has created a legacy plan, and there's 3 pillars: unlocking infrastructure, which is probably this is one of them already.
Yep.
Grow participation and increase leadership. Those 3 pillars. What does it mean to the referees, especially because you're part of that group of the football community?
Yeah, sure. So unlocking infrastructure is really important. As most people know, change rooms around South Australia, there's not usually, but often, they can be just a dark little dingy cupboard, really. And you've got, most of the time, it's unusual to have any more than 1 female on a match unless it's specifically organised, particularly for a female match or things like that. So, our female referees are in a very small space with a bunch of guys who are taking their shirts off, doing their thing. In some ways, that's nice that they're just part of the team and they're not singled out.
Yeah.
But it's also not really that appropriate.
Yeah.
So my referees are very conscious of that, and they are respectful. But we need that extra facility. It's difficult to ask all the guys to leave while the lady's having a shower, et cetera, all those sorts of things. So unlocking for infrastructure, massive for inclusion for females, both referees and players. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
So we've got a safe base.
And that's across all local grounds and stuff like that eventually at one point?
Yeah, that'd be amazing, right?
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
That would be. Yeah, sorry.
I was just going to say, if you just had 2 change rooms available, so that you're not ducking off to a toilet to get changed or whatever the case may be. And I know that we're looking at using schools as well as part of that unlocking infrastructure, and that too is just such a great idea and such a great opportunity to get those extra facilities.
Now, the second pillar in this legacy plan is growing participation. This must be a huge one for you as as the head of referees. What does it mean to have that and that part of the pillar?
Yeah, sure. So our target is to have 100 female referees by 2025. To put that into perspective, at the moment we've got 45 registered referees, so it's a big increase for us. 45 female referees, that's only 13% of our referees.
Jeez.
Yeah. If we just show you the growth that we've already had this year, at the end of last year we only had 8% female referees.
So with less than 6 months, it's grown 5%.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's pretty big. And to get to that 100 referees, have you got any ideas of how to grow that?
We definitely have. So we are putting together, and we're going to run a female mentor program. Okay? So specifically some coaching and some mentoring for females, predominantly by females, wherever we can. Not exclusively, but predominantly. Well, we've already run one female-only referee course, which is where a large number of these, we had 21 people registered and 16 attended, so that's our biggest increase this year. By creating this environment of inclusiveness, inclusive environment, because we've created an inclusive environment. That's the first big thing, is creating this culture where everybody's welcome and we're not here to knock each other down. That's the first very big thing amongst the referees, is creating that. And we're well on the way. We've got this great environment now, as you referred to earlier, that you've seen. So that should make it really, because females in general, they need that. They need a little bit more love. We're a little bit different. We need a little bit more love. We need to be treated a little bit more tenderly and to be supported. The females need to be taught in a slightly different manner. You can't sort of go in and say, oh, you did this, 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 and this. You need to go, hey, just take a little bit more of a different approach. So creating that environment was the number one thing, and we're well on the way with that. Now we've got to do the recruiting and the retaining of those.
And then the third pillar is increasing leadership. So what's that involve, and does that committee that you're a part of now, is that a big part of it as well? Yeah,
absolutely is. Absolutely is. So I think it's fair to say I'm leading by example in leadership. It's really nice, and I'll try and take a step back and look in, but I'm looking at my position that it's the first time that we've had a female in this position as well. It's hard. Again, if you've got a really small base to start with of numbers, and as they dwindle, who carries on? So that leadership is definitely going to, those people who are coming through now, I want to mentor them and have them come through and stay in the game as leaders.
That's it sounds like a really good, a great plan, and it's good that FSA have put this together, taken the initiative to take advantage of one of the biggest tournaments in the world being on our
Absolutely.
doorstep.
Yeah, if we don't do it now, when are we going to do it, right? No, it is. It's fantastic.
And that initiative, if you want to learn more about it, there you can go to leavealegacy.com.au, and it's got everything on there about the legacy plan for the Football South Australia's FIFA Women's World Cup legacy plan. So go there and check it all out, because it is incredible to see the plan, the well thought out plan that's in there on the website about all the different pillars. And I'm looking forward to it. I cannot wait for the World Cup. And out there, we could be watching any country.
That's it.
Training out there. It's going to be good.
It's going to be so exciting, right?
And the buzz around the room, and also for the referees, because there might be some great opportunities for a couple of them to be a part of the Australian contingent of the referees. So what's the buzz like for them having something like that on soil?
100%. So the preparation for referees into a World Cup starts well before. It starts like the 4 years before. So we have World Cup candidates, and they go to training around the world, and they sort of do intensive training. So that process is already taking place. So we will have some Australian referees refereeing on a home soil World Cup, which is really exciting. Locally, just the ability to have access and interaction, one with referees, but also the teams. Who knows? What these guys, some of our local people might get a chance to referee a practice match. We don't know. We're hopeful that these sorts of things are going to be a possibility.
Anything can happen, and that's what's so good about having this on home soil.
Absolutely.
So, looking forward to it. Cannot wait. So leavealegacy.com.au is a place to find out as much as you can about this legacy plan from Football South Australia. I can't wait, and I can see you cannot wait.
I cannot wait either.
It is great. And just to finish it off, Female Football Week, we're in it at the moment. What would you recommend to anyone listening now that has a girl or someone in their life that wants to play football or be a referee?
Yeah.
What would you say to them to encourage them to get out and do it?
Just do it. Yeah. No, get out there. Give it a try. You don't know until you do try. If anyone wants to reach out about refereeing, I'm sure you'll be able to supply some contact details through FSA, the referee department. Look, it's such an amazing thing. And when I think about refereeing in particular, I mean, we know that sport is so good for our development. But we look at refereeing, it's a fantastic on your resume as a leadership skills, decision making, that courage, interaction, working under pressure, all of those things. It really, not only do you get a bit of pocket money for doing it, it develops you as a person.
Yeah,
it 100% gives you a head start in life as you're heading off into adulthood, I guess, and it continues to develop. The longer you're out there, the more you develop. Interpersonal relationships, conflict management at times we don't particularly want to be experiencing, but it's all those things. It's 100%.
That's fantastic. Or you can do what you do and go out and be a powerlifter as well on the
you
side.
Could.
Yeah. You never know, but if you don't give it a shot, you don't know. But that's a great. I love the way you put that. And I haven't told you about this, but at the end of every podcast I do for Kicking It Local, I do Kicking It questions.
Okay.
So I've got a couple of on-the-spot questions for you. They're not hard at all. So, but it's just basically, the first one is, who would you kick it with on a football park, or who would you? Actually, it's a little bit different for you because you're a referee. But who would you love to be on the football park with?
I'm probably lucky enough to have been on the football park with the referees that I've wanted to be. That's pretty cool to have been able to say that.
Who were some of those referees?
What I was going to say though is I would actually love to go out on a football field with Sam Kerr.
You could have that opportunity.
I might. You never know. No, I just think she's obviously an incredible player. Never had the opportunity to referee her, but would love to go out there and have a conversation with her on a football field and have a kick around with her. Yeah,
that's fantastic. And you could be around the corner with the 2023 World Cup on our doorstep. So
could be.
We never know, but I hope that happens for you, because that would be an amazing achievement, and that can go on the long list of everything else you've experienced. And the last one, on a Saturday night, if you want to sit back and watch some football, who would you love to kick it with on a Saturday night? I'm
going to be really corny here and actually say it's actually my partner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 100%. They are my football buddy and friend, and there's no one else I would actually want to sit down and watch a game of football with.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Corny.
Nah, that's perfect. And I like that, because watching football is one of the best things in life, especially when you're involved in it as well. And just sitting back, watching it, and then you're choosing your partner to do that with.
Absolutely.
Nice. And hopefully Sam Kerr as well.
It could be wonderful if the three of us could sit down together. That'd be fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me, Michelle. I've really enjoyed talking to you about your career, your being the first female referee in the National Youth League Grand Final, Under 20s World Cup. Oh, it's incredible list, and I'm looking forward to the World Cup coming on our shores and seeing the referees grow in our state. Yeah, me too. Very excited by that. And Female Football Week, thank you so much for joining me for this special week in South Australia and also the country, and all the best with the future of refereeing. Thank you. Everyone out there listening, get out there, participate in this week's activities. Absolutely, and make sure you head on to Football South Australia's social media and also their website to find out how to get involved in officiating, and also leavealegacy.com.au. That was Michelle Smith, the Senior Referee Development Consultant and the Chair of the Referee Coaching Advisory Group, or the RefCo as she calls it, on Kicking It Local. Make sure you subscribe to Kicking It Local wherever you get your podcasts so you can get a taste of the SA football community. Plus, follow Kicking It Local SA on Instagram and Twitter so you don't miss any of the action. See you soon!